All right, welcome everyone. This is a Viper Professional Training and Support webinar. Today's date is Tuesday. This is January 3rd, 2017, and the title of tonight's webinar is Lines Make Great Profits. Come and see how. And as everyone knows that's been to our webinars or our live trading room, everything that we say and do at Viper Trading Systems is for educational purposes only. Futures trading, Forex trading, any kind of financial instruments trading involves risk. Therefore, there's always risk of loss. You should only trade discretionary capital, and that is money that you can afford to lose. Nothing said in this webinar. Other webinars we might have, our live trading rooms or anything else with Viper Trading Systems, should never be construed as trading or investment advice. And as always, everyone does trade at their own sole discretion. All right, I see a bunch of names in here tonight that I don't recognize, but we have an open house this week, our yearly open house at the first of the year. Thanks everyone for coming. Hope you got something out of the room this morning. And I want to show you something real quick before I go on. If you'll go to vipertradingsystems.com to our home page, anybody that doesn't have the trial just yet, just simply go to our home page. Hopefully I've got good internet tonight. We'll see. I pay for like 330 megabyte too. All right. If you don't have it, just scroll down and try us free. This will get you actually through next Friday. We're doing an open house through next Friday. Gives you a little time to learn it, doesn't it? All right. And then in the meantime, you're also invited to our webinars, just like the one you're attending right now, but also be sure to watch some of these webinars right here. I'll go to our webinar link. Should be able to see that come up any moment. My internet slowed down about 2 hours ago. I'm going to have to reboot my modem. But anyway, it's working, so that's all we care about. All right, so if you look at the webinar recordings, as soon as they show up, that is, you'll notice that down here on the far right, there's one called Training on All Viper Indicators and Object Trader. That's the one you want to watch first. It's 2 hours, so get you a cup of coffee, juice, or something, and pause it, fast forward it, things like that, back it up. This teaches you quite a bit about Viper. And then just start with the webinars. Basically the latest one on here anyway is 1219, and I'll get some more webinars up here too. Here's one for 1222 right here. So that's a little bit newer right there. Okay. But all these webinars are about an hour long, and they teach you exactly what I was showing today in the trading room. All right, so without further ado, let's do what we always do and go over some line drawing. Okay, I think it's extremely important to draw on charts, and if you've ever been in my webinars, I teach a little different, I think, than Charles does, because I like to show a little bit more where you don't have to look at the entire forest. You can look at the individual trees and kind of see what's going on, okay, on this. And if you were looking at this chart right here, right now, and by the way, this is an active chart. I just simply set it for the 3rd of January. We're going to actually look at some different trades as they set up. And we'll probably miss on a couple of them, and we'll make on probably 85% of them, maybe even 90. We don't know. We'll find out. Okay, but I want everybody to see how to draw on their charts, how to use these lines to make money, how to use the power meters to make money, and how to use lightning to make money. Now, I don't know of any other vendor out there that has got it to where you can simply click on like your control key and you can draw your lightning that easily. Okay, now this tells me by looking at this right here that this is a low, of course, this is a high, higher low, and a higher high. Now I draw a line on my chart like so. All right, I'm going to go ahead and change that to a little lighter color because my charts are usually lighter than this. Okay, now does anybody see that this is not an established low just yet? This was not an established low because it never took out that top. So isn't this still an uptrend? As we speak, basically it was a double top. It's come down to 95. We know that because it's actually printed the number 95. And then I draw another line at my support, and I see support course, at 95. I see support right here at 79. All right. Now, if I'm going to continue heading up, this area needs to hold, doesn't it? So I would literally draw me a little box and something like that. And let's just see what this looks like on an actual chart. I'll go ahead and right click and go to templates, and we'll load our favorite template, which is the OT, power meter, lightning, that type of thing. There we go. All right. Now, isn't that amazing on this chart that I actually drew right about where I want to get in this trade, didn't I? Okay. Everybody see that, right? And it makes it clear to see, doesn't it? It absolutely makes it clear to see. Because the whole thing is that when you're looking at charts, you're looking at trend, right? You're looking first off to see, are we getting a high and a low and a higher high? Well, if you are, then you're uptrending. Okay, if you're getting a high, a low, a lower high, and then a lower low than the previous swing, you're getting a downtrend. Okay, now on this chart, Viper also gives you the ability to see in real colors and real time what the chart is actually showing us trend-wise. And that chart, even without this last chart that I had just a minute ago, is pretty much telling us, and I'll go back to, let's see, without the square, let's just go back to our little webinar template again. We'll put it on here. And I'll go ahead and take off the predictors. And you can see that that's that exact same chart, right? Okay, so where we've drawn on this other chart was exactly this chart, right? And that's what we're looking at. So let me ask you a question. Wouldn't this be pretty much where we'd want to be looking for that trade? Right? So let's put Object Trader on. This is a $10 a tick stock futures for anybody that has not traded oil before. CL stands for crude light for anybody that's new. All right, let's go ahead and go to strategies. We'll put on Object Trader. We're in replay mode because in a webinar I have to be able to have this thing move. We can't wait for 30 minutes for one bar to form. Okay, so I'm going to put it in replay mode and we're going to simply get ready to take some trades. All right, now I firmly believe in taking at least where I can get a runner. 2 contracts, okay, because without a runner, you're going to always be only scalping. And believe me, if you just scalp, you know, let's say you scalp for 5 or 6, 7 ticks, and you do that 5 times, and you win once, and you lose once, then you lose again where you're down, right? And then you win again, you're back at break even, minus broker's fees. And then you win again, and you're up a little bit for the day. Then you look at your broker's fees, and you paid them $30 of your $100 profit. See what I mean? So, you know, that to me is not the way to trade. Okay? Now, let's look at our little predictor. We do have a predictor, by the way, right here. See it right there? See the top of the predictor? So I'm going to bring my line down just a little bit. All right, and let's see if we can get a trade here or with the power meter. Now, if you take the trade just when it touches predictor, that's what I call an aggressive trade. Okay, if you're going to do that, usually it's best to actually do like 1 contract and then set this for like, you know, 50 ticks even or something like that. You see what I mean? Just let the trade run. Okay, but another way to do it, of course, is maybe take 1 here, and then if it breaks power meter 1 and turns green, we could add another one. Okay, and let's see if something like that works. I'll go ahead and start the timer. Now, anybody that's in here, by the way, right now, you know that this part of the webinar will not be a hokey pokey. That's an okie term, by the way. But you saw in the room, if you stayed the hour after we closed the room today, we looked at some live charts, one at a time, to teach how to see where to get in the trades. And I had several people today call me and said that 7 out of 7 worked. Okay, so you know it obviously does work. It is very, very important to know where the next trade is, because if you know where the next trade is, you don't have to, you know, jump in when it's all the way up here and then hold through a 40-tick pullback. You know, that's called chasing trades. Okay, now this hadn't quite been down to our predictor yet, but it has been to this one right here. See it? Right at 92, but it hadn't been down to this 91 just yet, which is where predictor is saying it's going. So I'm going to try to get there, or I'm going to hit power meter green, whichever it does. Let's just kick it up a notch and go about 4 times normal speed, and we'll fire the trade if it materializes. Watching for green or 91. And I'll just keep my finger on the buy trigger. Oh, you had to go to work earlier, Mindy? I'll do that. Well, it'll probably be at your work time anyway, but I'll tell you what, if you want me to, remind me, and I'll do the same thing tomorrow. We'll stay, say, 40 minutes over, and I'll record it. And we'll just put it on the website. Okay. All right, let's see if we can get a trade. Now, like I say, the one thing that is very difficult, let's say, for instance, that you're thinking, wow, if I box this in, I'm going to have to do this. And if I'm not biased at all, you see what I mean? And I turn on both sides of it, what if this closes at 91 where I'm wanting to get in this thing? I might be short. That's why I don't like totally boxing in, simply because I like to stay with the trend. When I can look at the trend and see that I've got an uptrend, I really don't want to be looking as much at shorts. Now, what if it took out 95, which is right here, that's the low right there, right? And did this. Came down, came back and didn't go up through it, but actually hit its head and then started rolling over. Wouldn't we have more than likely a red background and everything anyway by then? That would be a trend change. Okay? But until it gives that, when I draw on this chart, and you'll see this time and time again in the room, I like to use lightning, and I like to watch these meters, and I like to trade on the right side of the trade. Okay, now at the open, if you're against the trend, I highly recommend doing a little bit more scalping, because you'll find that that works quite a bit more. To give an example, on NQ, I know for a fact at the open there was a box drawn. It probably barely got you in one direction and then it went the other. Well, if you have a 12-tick stop with, say, 2 contracts, okay, that's $120. Plus, it's got to reverse the trade after it closes out of the bottom of the box. So that's going to be more than likely, instead of $120, closer to $150 or $60. So you're already $160 in the hole by the time you get flipped, and then by the time you get flipped, you're going down to phantom, which is actually going long. Okay? That's why you want to be real, real careful with that type of trading. Okay? We still haven't got a trade, by the way. Still haven't got one. I'll go ahead and kick it up a little bit more. Hopefully we can get this thing going. And like I said, if it turns green, I'm just going to hit market. Okay? If it gets down to 91, I'm going to hit market. So in a way, I could actually go ahead and use my little region, right? Something like this, and I'll do my region with my insert key. Where's it at? There it is. All right. And let's see here. We need to turn it on. Let me get it set. Okay, so I'm looking for a long at the bottom, or even a long out of that by about 2 ticks, say, something like that. And you might even wait for the close, but if you wait for the close, you're not going to get this trade down here. Okay, now like I say, I don't like breakouts as much as I like this trade down here. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and turn that on though so we can get one contract. Okay, now by the way, you would go ahead and move your box like this. That's your little wick. Now, if we got this on this side of the box, where would our stop be? Well, it'd be under here. But would you flip it? Because you haven't even had a phantom yet. So let's say that you got in accidentally and it filled like here, and then it goes down against you. Okay? Well, guess what? You're not going to get filled till down here where I'm going to get long. You see what I mean? So you want to be careful flipping, because first time into phantom after a trend change is a lot of times going to be a decent trade to begin with. Okay, we got touch plus 2. Let's see if we can get this. And I'm going to go ahead and add 1. See if we can get 2. Well, we didn't get 2. That's all right. Maybe. Might still. See if we can get 2. We might. I'll do even touch plus 3. See if we can get that second contract added. That should do it right there, actually. If it goes 3 ticks. See, it's touched the bottom of it. There we go. We just got it. Got 2 added, so we're in 3. Okay? Now, right this very moment, I can't put my stop right here because I don't have any lightning. Notice that was my aggressive trade. All right? Now, what about you people that like a little bit more conservative trade? Let's just kill it. Okay, and let's see if we can get a conservative trade. I'll get rid of the box, and we'll see if we can get a conservative trade. Power meter, green. And by the way, if this was real, you just gave your broker, like $8 to begin with, right? So that's not what I'd consider a good trade. I'm trying to show you how to get in aggressive and also conservative. Now, so far you've got green's going to turn here any second. Bar close will do it. See if we can get it. There we go. Notice how power meter went green, okay? Now we're in this trade. Now your stop can be under here because that's a lightning swing, right? A little thrust retrace. So basically stop could be under here. We've got a 12-tick stop, 2 contracts, that's $240. We need a higher low. We don't want to take this out down here. Okay? Now what if I actually said, you know what? Maybe if it takes out this little swing here, I want to add a contract. I could even turn this on again if this bar will close to the top, that is. See if we can get it. Just got 3. See how it just came down there on top of my little mid-band? Now as soon as this pops above here, right where my cursor is, I'm going to draw a line on the chart, and I'm going to change the color of the line so that we can actually all see it. Navy's good. Dark blue's fine. All right, as soon as it breaks that line right here, we're going to move our stop. Okay, now we're actually feeling a little bit of heat. Not much. Can't put your stop here yet, though. They'll kill you on those. Okay, we're trying to break above. If it closes, I'm going to put my stop right under there. Now I'm only risking 5 ticks, which is a $100 bill. And there we go. We just got a very, very decent trade. Everybody see that? Not too shabby. Now, what if this thing runs away like it did this morning? Remember? We don't know if it's going to, but it's looking to me like that's a mid-band trade and it's going to take out that 20. Where could we get in again? If we hadn't gotten in it at all. When it comes down to stealth, somebody's saying, okay, well, let's try that. Let's just see if we can. Stealth is right here. Right now, anyway, it could move up. We'll find out. See if we can get a little add-on to this. Not yet. Stop still under here. That's lightning swing. There's a little pullback, but not much yet. See if stealth will move up. I'd like for it to come back at least to here at 54.02. It may not come that low though. If it comes to stealth, if stealth colors again right through here, otherwise I might even add right here if it takes out this little swing. But if I do that, I got to be careful because I'm going to obviously have to protect it with lightning, right? So let's take it either way. Hadn't taken it yet. Still hadn't taken it yet. There we go. We're getting closer to stealth. We're only in one right now. That just busted up above my little swing there. See that? See how I'm just waiting for that? Now it didn't quite come to stealth. That's okay. Notice how I just took the little breakout. But where would my stop be now? It'd be underneath the swing. Now I'm at break even. Okay? But I've actually made some decent profit by jumping in, adding on, and now I can't even get hurt even if this thing comes against me. Well, at break even, obviously, it's going to cost me some of this money, right? But let's see how lightning does here. Let's see what we can get out of this. Always look to the left to trade the right, too. There's a swing all the way up there at 54.37, and that's as high as it's been. So we're going to see what it does at 54.37. Lightning's getting ready to form again. Not yet. Hadn't closed above it yet, right? See, here's our swing trying to come into play. If it closes above, that's going to be our new swing. Right where my cursor's at. Not yet. Not yet. Not yet still. Now see, it's still going to be right here, same spot, but it's got to take out the high. It looks like that's going to do it. Not yet. It's got to close. Now you could go ahead and move this up a little bit, obviously, because you know it shouldn't come down below here, so obviously you don't have to give them that much of it, because it should hold even here. Everybody see that? But it's not identified yet. Remember what identified is, everyone, right? Closed above the swing. It's identified. If you want to get another bar to really identify it, you can do that. One more bar, and I'll put it up. That's good enough. Everybody see that? Now you could take one off. It's right at resistance, which we drew on our chart. And now we stay with the trade and write our two contracts. Okay? Now, drawing on your charts and getting in at the right spot is critical to your trading. People that stayed after the room today, you noticed that we didn't wait for really major pullbacks, because a lot of times they'll run just like this. This looks like a run to me. I don't know how far it's going to go, but we're going to ride it until it quits wanting to be rode. Right? Absolutely. Now, when they start running like this, I start thinking, oh boy, this is awesome. But if you're trading other charts, you got to start thinking about your money. So we've got a little target in here, a little trailing stop that's called line 6, line 5, and even mid-band. If you choose mid-band, that's line 4, and you'd simply engage your trail, and it'll follow that line. See it following it? All right. If I wanted to follow line 6 instead, I'd just simply do this and engage the trail like that. And if it closes below it, it would take me out of the trade. Everybody see that? Now, I like to let mine run a little bit more than line 6 a lot of times, so I'm actually going to use, well, let's see what it does. It's still taking it out, isn't it? I'm going to use line 5, though, just simply because it'll give me a little bit more wiggle room. And I got to move this out of the way. Okay? Now, drawing on your charts can literally make all kinds of money, because the whole idea is getting runners, right? I mean, is that a runner? Well, at $10 a tick, that's a heck of a runner. How much higher is it going to go? Gosh, who knows? We're going to find out, I guess, aren't we? Now, let's see if we can intelligently get out of the trade. Okay, we're just riding the runner right up here. We got our exit on close set. If it happens to take us out, oh, power meter went red. It's going to take us. And we're out. Okay, everybody see that? Definitely not a bad way to trade, right? Okay, now what happens after most of your thrusts like this? Most of them like this, I'd highly recommend going into like a scalper mode. See if we can even get this. I'm going to go ahead and take this on it. Well, I missed it. Bar closed to the upside. I just wanted to get 7 ticks. Too late. Didn't hit the order. I also like to wait for what everybody? An A, a B, right? And we want a C. We don't know where the C is going to be yet, but we do know we want one. Okay, let's see if we can get one. And we'll fire a trade accordingly if we do. We missed that one, although I called it out live. I've got it going about 10 times, so we missed it. It was 10 times speed. No big deal. See if we can get the retracement trade. We'll find out. Now, if it gets down to like Phantom or line 5, line 5 trades are really good. Your Phantom trades are really good, but I want an ABC out of this to be pretty sure that I'm going to make it. Everybody know why I didn't get in that trade when I missed it to here? Everybody know why? Because I'm going to stop this for a second. If you look at this, I'm going to draw 2 lines on your chart. $94 to $24, how much is that? Anybody? 94 to 24, quick, in your heads. 30, right? 30 ticks. Exactly. Now, how much is half of that? 15, right? So let's see. That's 94. That's 18 ticks that it went up, right? But if we didn't get in until that bar, how much trade did we actually have? And we didn't know for sure if it was going to go up, so we would have probably had our stop underneath when it rolled over and not gotten anything out of it anyway. You see what I mean? So always look at how much it's pulled back, and if you miss the entry, then assume that it may not go all the way to the top yet, because they usually, after a huge move like this, they usually go sideways for a while. Okay? And if you can get in at a perfect spot, like just under mid-band, and get the 7 or 8 ticks, see, I was just going for 7. But since I missed that one, and by that one, I didn't want it, because I knew by looking at this, that was about 30 ticks, and that was halfway. So I didn't take it. Matter of fact, it was probably a 61% retracement, to be truthful. Right on the money. See it right up there? So that's why we didn't take it right there. See, if you put your 30 ticks on here, I'll pull this out of the way a little bit so you can see it. See where that hit that 61% exactly? That's usually what happens in these runs like that. Okay? So when I missed this one, I knew I didn't have 7 ticks in that trade at all. Now I am looking for another one. I'm looking for an A, a B, a C. It's got to at least break this area right here, at least a little bit, for it to be an ABC. And then I will look to take it. And we'll see if we can get a scalp. Okay, I'll start it back up again. See if we can get a trade. Now this is an area right here that I know is really tough for a lot of people, because you're thinking, wow, if it breaks 94, should I short it? Well, if you're going to do that, I'd highly recommend putting a really tight stop. And truthfully, I'd probably have already shorted it. You see what I mean? Because it's below mid-band. We're hoping it'll go to but that's a hope-so type trade. And I don't like hope-so type trades, because we don't know it's going to do an ABC. It may hit its head at 94 and bounce. We don't know. Okay? So I don't recommend that trade right there. Okay? Because what usually happens after a huge move up, they're going to consolidate. And once they do their little retracement, and they're not done with it yet, at least not unless they bounce off 94, that's not our low yet. We know we have a high, we have a low, we have a lower high, but we don't have a lower low yet. Everybody see that? And by the way, if you're going to short this little puppy, I'd probably let it pull down, do the B part, and short the 61% for mid-band. That way you get a 10-tick trade. Okay? If you're going to go against the trend at all, it looks like this may work out, and that's fine. I'm going to tighten the heck out of the stop, because like I said, that's not a trade I would take. Not at all. Let's see if it works. It might work. Just because the trade works doesn't mean it was a smart trade, though. Yeah, it's going to work. But while we're short, aren't we looking for a long? Down around Phantom, more than likely. And let's go ahead, and we're in sideways motion, so we're probably going to do more of a little power meter type trade when it turns green. Hopefully it won't go too fast, I can't catch it. If it does, I'll skip it. And all I want is like 7 ticks, if we can get that. Now, how many of you miss out on good trades because you're actually going against the trend? You know, this is actually starting to tell you that they're trying to consolidate, and they're going to give you a level of support, and you already know your level of resistance, right? Well, it's right up here. So we don't know where our level of support is, because we've got a high, a low, a lower high, and we're starting to get a lower low. We did get our target, but we don't know where that's going to be yet. I'm looking hopefully for Phantom, because that would be first time into Phantom after a trend change. That's an 85% probability trade. Or I'll take the little green power meter, and I will go ahead and do 3 contracts, and all I want is 7-8 ticks. Right now your power meter would be here, wouldn't it? Maybe in a different spot here in a minute. We'll find out. Thrust, little retrace. See if we can get a power meter change. Now if they blow through it and go like 5 ticks before we ever even get the trigger pulled, I don't like that trade. There's resistance. You know, if resistance holds, you could try. I'd probably put it on a separate chart, and I'm not going to teach that tonight as much because this is looking like resistance could hold, and you might get a quick little short trade for 7 ticks if resistance holds, because this is kind of a little resistance area right across here, actually here even. That's your little swing. But if it goes green, I'll take it. And here in just a few minutes, we'll go ahead and fast forward and show the NQ, how you can trade it. There we're getting a little pullback. That might have been a good little short at resistance. Learn to see these charts every day and draw on them, and you can tell right where they're going to hit their head. Doesn't mean they're going to run 100 ticks. Don't get me wrong on that. If that comes down to Phantom, I'm going to buy 1 for sure, even without waiting for it to do the power meter, because I like Phantom trades. Wow, this thing is slow. It's almost a Phantom. Let's see, except when on which one, Kenneth? That came down to Phantom, by the way. Now, if you wait for the power meter to go green for the same 7 ticks, we can do that even. We'll see which one works out. It's Phantom trade. And if it goes green, I will simply do the old power meter and do 2 buys. Now see, I did an aggressive trade, and I'm feeling a little bit of heat on it. If it takes out this yellow line, it will go green. See there? Just took it out. Okay? And then let's wait and see what happens with the trade. There we go. We just got it. Got 7 ticks. Okay? That's the way you trade this system. And we teach this all the time in the room. And let's go real quick. I'm going to put the webinar on pause, and I'm going to go to an NQ chart, and we're going to fast forward our little meter to 8:30, because we didn't call a single trade on NQ till at least 8:30. I'll try to get as close as I can to it. Usually it won't let you, except like, I can get to 8:17. That'll be close enough. Give it a moment to load, and then I'll go ahead and change this to an NQ chart. We'll try to trade it. Give it just a moment. Okay, it loaded. Now I'm going to load my NQ chart, and we're going to take a trade or two. Okay, Bear with me a second. I'll get Object Trader on it. Okay. CL's still on the screen because it's loading. Anytime they're loading these charts with GoToWebinar, you got to be really, really careful, because what can happen if you're not careful is that this thing will lock up NinjaTrader, which we don't want to do, obviously. Okay? And we're not near 8:30. If you want to take a trade, we will, though. Does anybody want to? Let's see. We need a few on NQ for sure, right? Let's look at our chart and see. We know by drawing on our chart, we've got a trade here, which it's already actually gotten, unfortunately. But let's see if we can get a different one. We don't have this one yet. And look where that actually set up. It was too quick, though. I've got it set on 10 times, unfortunately. But see how I drew my line, though, ahead of time? And that actually fired a trade right where we wanted the silly thing. Not too shabby. We called that trade in the room this morning. And I'm sure some of you actually got it, right? Because it actually turned out to be a very decent trade. Anybody remember it? Now remember, at the open, especially on NQ, there's times that you can get some pretty decent trades the opposite direction too. Remember, I even mentioned in the room that we had support right down in through here. Everybody remember that? On NQ? Anybody remember it? Well, if that bounces off that support right there, to me, this is still an uptrend, by the way. Hadn't bounced so far. We're okay. We'll let it go ahead and do its thing. This is just right at the open. We're just opening at 8:32. There's your little boxes. Put your line right there. That's your little box right there. I'm going to buy if it takes out that line with a, well, we'll do it with a close bar. Good enough right there. Hadn't closed yet. It may not for a little bit. It hit resistance. Those are our little boxes at the open. Remember, I was drawing on that support, that chart for support. Okay, now we're in this trade. Now that was aggressive, by the way. Okay, now a little bit less aggressive would be to wait for this thing to turn green. Now keep in mind at the open, remember, we're not looking at this background and stuff. We're actually looking more at what's actually going on the chart. I'm going to get these out of the way so I can teach. All right. You want a little bit better trade than this, the best way to do is go ahead and wait for the power meter to actually turn. Because I may get stopped out on this one. I'm going to put it on exit on close just because I got in it. We're feeling a little bit of heat. Anybody want out of this yet? We came out of Band-Aid, which is 831. This is your, well, this is your 831 and this is your 832, I guess, right here. So we're long out of Band-Aid. If it takes out this swing right here, there's your power meter. I'm going to go ahead and take some more there just simply because power meter's saying that right at the open, we're okay on that. Remember, I got in Russell on this trade. I called it, had it boxed in and everything, and I'm pretty sure this thing did the exact same thing as my Russell did. And if it didn't, I'll get stopped out on it, and it's not a big deal to me. Did you get that one too, Adam? Good deal. Now, there's another way to wait for these too. I want to show you a way that we used to even teach and had an auto trader that actually did this trade. Now, that's 8 contracts. Okay, that's quite a few. But let me show you another trade. See that green stealth right there? It's almost right on support, wasn't it? See how it just came down to that line right there? Now we just more than likely missed this trade right here because I was playing around, but let's see if we can get a little bit of a pullback, and we'll see if we can get in this trade. I'd like for it to come to stealth, but this looks pretty strong. So I'm going to take it if it takes out the little swing. I'd love to get it down lower, like even right through here. Well, we got it already, so we're good. Everybody see why I went ahead and took that? And I would put my stop just underneath there. Get my targets out of the way. Look to the left to trade the right. I've got resistance right up here, so I'm going to definitely want to take off a contract there. I got resistance up here. Want to take off a contract there, right? And I want to ride a couple of runners. Just like that. Everybody see that? Now, here's another trade that I want to show you that happens quite often, especially when you're going sideways. If you draw on your chart, you'll basically notice that you had support just right under here. They took it out a little bit. Remember, it came down on top of this support right here. See that big thrust up, retrace, big thrust up. So this is pretty much a little, kind of a channel, isn't it? So if they don't take out 408, what do you think you should do? Well, you got to protect your trade always, right? So we're going to protect our trade by going under lightning, exit on close. We're fine on the trade. And we'll just ride lightning up on this and see what we can get. Where's lightning right now? Lightning is right. Still here. It's almost there though, isn't it? Right there. Almost. Didn't quite close above yet though, so you got to be careful with that one. I'd lag it back just a little bit. If it pops up above again, where's your swing? Well, it's going to be right there. Just like that. That's the way you trade that. How'd you take that last trade, Douglas? That was just more that it just simply did a little pullback. I find that if they really thrust up like several candles at once, there's a lot of times you can just wait for that little pullback, at least so you can save, 4 or 5 ticks on your stop anyway. Okay, let's see if we're going to head up or what we're doing here. Our stop's still right underneath here. We would expect them to do this trend line if we drew it, right? But it has hit its head at 408. At 908, pardon me. Power meter just went red. I'm going to let that bar close, but if this comes down any further, I'm going to click close because both my power meters are red. I'm closing. See right there? Both power meters are red. So I expect a fairly deep retracement, right? Okay, now we know we're going into what? Retrace mode. So we're going to go to like 7 ticks. We're going to try to get around mid-band to a predictor. We need an ABC at least. There's an AB, Big Gartley. That's below mid-band. I'm going to be in it on a bar close to the upside for 7 ticks. See if we can get it. Got it. Didn't quite get up to our target yet. Lightning is right there. Stopped us out. That's not a biggie, right? Now this is actually breaking support, so you have literally, even if you counted this top only, an A, B, Is it going to bounce off of Phantom? Well, you'd have to wait for it to box, right? But you know what? There's another trade that if it happens to take out this support right here, which it already did, right? I'm going to take a bar close. Well, it's too late. I'm going to take it anyway. You know why? Because it took out Phantom and that went red. Everybody see that? Went red. Okay, but what if you missed that trade right there? Where do you think another trade is on this chart? Well, I can tell you where because it's setting up right now as we speak, right? Mid-band. I'm going to put my stop just above line 5, exit on close. Remember that trade called in the room this morning? That didn't turn out to be a bad trade. And by the way, I like an ABC most times, but if they come up to mid-band and roll over, those are pretty good trades. Remember the rule of thumb? After a trend change, this is an 80 to 85% probability trade if it gets at or above mid-band, which it did, and rolls over, and it did. Okay, so that turned out to be another decent trade. Now I'm going to go ahead and take 4 off if we get a bar close to the upside, simply because we don't want to carry 8 contracts forever, right? Where would our stop be on this one? Well, right now it would be at the lightning swing, right? Which is right here. If it'll take out this bottom, it'll be right here. Didn't take it out yet. See if that holds. We'll find out. Okay, you've got a low, a high, a higher low. If it takes out this little swing here with the close of a bar, I'm going to get out of that trade. Everybody see why? Low, high, higher, low. Is it going to take us? Maybe not. Notice how it's on exit on close, so it doesn't fire with your broker yet. And you just fired because it did close. Okay? Now, what if you wanted in this trade again? Draw on your charts. Never took out the low, so this doesn't even count. Remember I called that live in the room this morning, as a matter of fact. I remember it. Remember, a high, a low, no lower low here. This doesn't even count. So this could be a little higher and still roll over. Let's see what it does here. We should at least get down to the bottom, so I'm going to do a few here. Hadn't turned our meter just yet. That, too late. Missed it, and double missed it. Now I'll probably take it anyway because see it popped up a little bit. Checking that swing right there is what it's doing. See that little lightning swing right there? See why I took that? Because it did give me a little retrace. It's trying to check that lightning swing. If you don't see it's a lightning swing, draw it because you'll see it. See it? Right there at that line. There you go. Sorry about that. I had to cough just a little bit. Everybody see that? Now, we only have one left, so unfortunately we're out of the trade, so we got to look for another trade, right? Okay. Let's see where the next trade is on this chart. They checked here. Object Trader is saying right here, or at least Predictor is, I like at least mid-band or higher. See if we can get one more trade. No parameter red yet. No parameter red yet. I don't like that trade as much because we don't have much to go for. We're just shooting for down here. But we haven't got a red meter anyway, so that's the conservative way. This looks like it's going to break up, actually, unless we get a red power meter. That's support. See, thrust, retrace, thrust up. That's support. Okay, let's diagnose our chart. Let's look at it. Called this out in real time this morning. Everybody remember this? Low here, high here, established high now right here, right? So let's go ahead and draw it. We're drawing on our charts. All right. Now, if it takes out 48.94, that could easily be a what we call a phantom type trade, right? So, whoops. So we're looking at first time into phantom after a trend change, or we could be looking for very possibly a trend change if it breaks this. Okay. But since we don't know that just yet, except for the fact that it bounced off of a double bottom and we're too late, okay, now we know for sure power meter 3 even went green. So what are we waiting for? Well, we're waiting for a pullback. Now, if you're going to take the phantom trade, by the way, I would do a sell for like 7 ticks, put my stop just above here with even a reverse at just in case. Simply because that is starting to be a trend change. There we got our target. Everybody see that? Now if this goes into stealth, which is support right here, and holds, that could easily be a break. See how we're starting to get higher lows and higher highs? It held support. Okay, we've got 4 in. Now we're not going to add 4. But you can see where you probably could if it takes out that little area right there, right? What does everybody think about this particular way of trading? Everybody remember in the room this morning, closed the room down at 10, called some trades on TF, oil, and gold. And those were exactly this same type of analogy in real time, looking at your charts and seeing where to get in. And I don't personally think it gets any better than that myself. Okay, what if you weren't even in this trade just yet? Does everybody see that if it breaks that little area right there, that you could always put your stop just under here, because that would be a lightning swing? See there? Now where's it going? Let's look to the left to trade the right. 4,900, right? Let's look to the left to trade the right. Got a swing up at 49.03, like so. And that's also a swing right here too. So on the left and the right, it's a swing, so that kind of verifies that. And then we would simply put our stop right under here, and then under here as soon as it pops up, if it pops up. Good enough. Everybody see why you don't have to have really, really tight stops? But you can have tighter stops as these things do their little lightning and give you some of these nice monster type moves. For some reason we flipped that. I didn't think we had that still turned on. Maybe we did. I apologize if we did. We wouldn't probably want to flip that, But I can tell you this, if it's going to pull back, it'll pull back into right, let's say at least through here, which is mid-band. You want to leave it on? We'll see if it works. I didn't mean for that to flip. I must have left on the reverse at. Let's see if it works. It looks like it's going to work anyway. We just had the luck of the Irish tonight, hadn't we? I'll go ahead and, well, we got our target, so we're good to go. Does anybody see a trade setting up on this chart? You want to try it just for the fun of it? Down at mid-band? That's also support right there. Close enough for me. We'll try to go a little higher on that one. The reason we're trying to go a little higher because it's already done a little lightning swing over here. Now keep in mind that was a little more aggressive trade, but that's a perfect mid-band trade and we just got some more profit on it. Okay? Let's see. Did you see that, Mindy, where I did show that on the NQ and everything? The one thing I would highly recommend is when they're going into this mind-numbing chop, like right in through here even, see if I can find some of it, like even right through here when the market changed and we started going, you know, after a good move down. Notice how these predictors, short, doesn't take out the low. You really want to be careful with the third short, right? We changed trends and we're at this point right now. Now, what do we do right now? Well, this is actually changing power meter 2. You got a little phantom trade setting up, right? Try one more. That's phantom. I usually like phantom. I'm going to buy 2. And then I'm going to buy 2 more if it takes out that little swing and goes green. Okay, and then we're going to tighten our stop. I'll put it right under there just in case this decides to crater on us. Phantom, first time in after trend change. Man, it looks like we're getting us a little trade. And always we have to put our stops, right? See where the little lightning swing is? Not quite yet. Not quite yet. Lightning went red. I'd probably close out if this bar even tries to close down with that power meter red. Yep. Everybody see why? Because it took out our lightning swing. Even though it wasn't identified, it was still a lightning swing. And if it goes red like that and then they take another bar even, you can go ahead and get out of it. Okay? Because that's just a smarter way to trade it. All right, let's do it again tomorrow. I don't think there's oil inventory tomorrow because obviously it was a holiday this week, but should be a good day. Anybody have any final questions before we wrap? Everybody enjoy the webinar? I'll go ahead and get it posted on the website here within the next probably 20, 30 minutes tops. Let's see, can you please show us how to use a simulation replay mode in Ninja when you have the time tonight, how to get it going? You're talking about replay, sure bet, on your question, right? Let me show you real quick what you have to do first, though. Let me go ahead and just kill this real quick. We don't care about any of this. We'll go ahead and kill the data feed. Okay, we're dead. And let me show you how to do that. First of all, sure bet, what you want to do is you want to go to Tools and Options. Okay, go to your data feed. data series, that is, under options, tools, options, data, and be sure and turn on market replay. HXP, if you didn't get the script, did you sign up for the trial? It's on our website at vipertradingsystems.com. All you have to do is send your email to viperlicensing@vipertradingsystems.com. Did you confirm the email that was sent you? If not, just send another email to Linda at viperlicensing@vipertradingsystems.com, and she'll get those to you. Okay, but anyway, sure bet, on your question, you just simply set this for record market replay. Okay, now there's another one out there. There's several of them. You can get a free trial through marketreplay.net, and you can download, rather than having to record it, you can download it. With NinjaTrader, you have to actually record your market data, and then under your connection, you'll actually see that it'll go to File, Connect, and then you'll have Market Replay that'll have different dates on it, which I don't have because I use the marketreplay.net. And if you use marketreplay.net, they usually give you about a month for free, and then after that, you pretty much have to pay them. And they're like $150 for unlimited data, and then you can download it and replay it anytime you want. All right. Thanks everyone for coming. Hope you enjoyed it. Looks like there was another trade setting up right as we speak, right? I mean, I turned the data feed off, but I think it's pretty clear to see that you got a little lightning swing right above there that's going to turn that meter green. So if it takes out 95, don't you think that might be a decent trade? I'd put a target on it of probably right there, looking to the left to trade the right. It's not $150 a month, Paul. It's just $150. They give you like lifetime downloading. Yeah, it's a one-time fee. I paid them a long time ago. It's called marketreplay.net is their website. You can get a trial on there for free, and then it may be for a year anymore. I know when I got it, it was for life. It may be $150 a year now. I really don't know. I know when I got it, it was for life. You have had to pay annually, Diane? Then he's probably changed it. You know, and you can't really blame the guy as far as that goes, because $150 one time is probably, you know, not enough to cover a lot of his, you know, he wrote scripts and all that kind of stuff. All right. Thanks everyone for coming. Hope you enjoyed it. Let's all trade it just like it was taught tonight. Kenneth says marketreplaydata.com is $49 a year if anybody wants to give them a shot. Is it called marketreplaydata.com, Kenneth? Okay, so marketreplaydata.com is $49 a year. And I'll tell you what, it pays to have replay data on your charts because you'll get sharp as a tack before long just looking at charts. All right, again, thanks everyone. $605 a month even if you want to do it that way. Okay, so about $72 a year. All right, that was good. Good to know. Thanks everyone for coming. Hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you in the trading room. Bye now.